Hi everyone, today we're going to look at some data that has been scraped off the internet regarding McDonald's. Okay, we're going to be looking at, in particular, nutrition data related to McDonald's menu items. So in our good friend Kaggle.com, there's a data set here, nutrition facts for McDonald's menu, another very popular download. And if we have a look at the kind of data that we're going to be downloading, let's just find it. Where is it? Let's go into data. And here we go. We're just going to find categories. For example, breakfasts, chicken and fish, etc., etc. Items, calories, fats, trans fats, all of this kind of nutritional data related to items on a McDonald's menu. Now I've downloaded that data and I've stored it in my project folder, McDonald's, and this is the data that we're going to be playing with. Okay, let's get that CSV file into our good friend Microsoft Access. Now of course, if you're using a different application, you're not using Microsoft Access but a different database application, you should still be able to import a CSV file into whatever application you're using. So here's my new database file. I'm going to go into the External Data tab and I will be importing a text file. The text file that I will be importing is in my Data Science folder. Very organized. McDonald's menu. Brilliant. Okay. It is a comma-separated values file. The first row contains field names. Yes, it does. Category, item, serving size, etc. We're just very quickly going to go through here. Text, text, text. Serving size is text. Even though it starts with a number, it's got characters in there. So that's a text field. The calories, I don't suppose any of these whole numbers are going to go really big, right? I don't think it needs to be a long integer. It could just be an integer. But today, I'm just going to leave it as a long integer. I'm not going to mess around with that. Calories from fat, long integer, long integer. Let's just quickly scroll through these. Long integer, long integer, long integer, long integer, long integer. Any issues here? I don't think so. Long integer, long integer, long integer, long integer, long integer, long integer, long integer. Okay, we're nearly there. Give me one more. Long integer. Everything's long integer here. That's fine. I'm not going to make any changes to that. Let Access add a primary key. Yep. So every record in the database will have a unique field. There is only one record in the database table with an ID of 1. There's only one record that has that ID. There are many records that have a category of breakfast. We can see some records here that have the same category of item name. Sausage biscuit, sausage biscuit, sausage biscuit. So records in databases don't have to be unique. But if we're going to find the data in the database quickly and analyze the data, we need to have at least one unique field within the database table. And that is the purpose of the primary key. And you'll get used to that idea as your skill set grows with database theory and practice. So I'm going to import this to a database table. I'm going to call it TBL menu. And hopefully we have no errors. Good. And here is the table. Absolutely brilliant. Done. Now what I'm going to do today, I'm going to create a query. And what I want to do is, let's just get organized here. What I want to do is see if I can count the number of breakfast category items that are in the database. I want to count how many breakfast items there are, how many beef and pork items there are, how many chicken and fish items there are, how many salads there are. I want to kind of create a summary table which will count how many different how can I explain this? How many different items there are in each category. Okay? So for example, there's probably something like 42 breakfast items. There looks like there's about 20 beef and pork items. There's about, something like 40 chicken and fish items, something like that. Okay, so that's the data that we're going to try and create in Access. Now you guys know how to do this, hopefully, in something like Microsoft Excel. Okay, creating summary data using count functions. We're going to look at how to do that in a database application like Microsoft Access. So let's go back to our query. I'm going to focus on the category, and I want to find a way to count the number of each category. So I'm going to go up to the totals button, which gives me a new option there. Do you see suddenly we get a total option? If I turn it off, it's not there, but if I turn that on, I get this new totals option, and hopefully one of these is count. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to count the categories. Let's run that. Oh, that's not really what I was expecting. It has generated an interesting field name, count of category. So that's a good start. That's kind of what we're looking for. But we want those different groups, right? There's the breakfast group. There's the beef and pork group. There's the chicken and fish group. There's the salads group. There's the snacks and sides group. There are all these different groups that we want to count. So that's not enough. Let's go back to Design View. What do I need to do here? I need to group, not just count the category, but I also need to group by category, right? I need to do so let's go back to the category field and just put that in again. Oh, group by. So we're going to group by category, and we're going to count each group. Oh, let's see if that works. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. There are 15 beef and pork items in the database. There are 27 beverage items. There are 42 breakfast items. Okay? So in today's data mining task, we're analyzing the data and creating some summary data, which is basically counting how many of each category is in the database. I don't like the way it's laid out, so I'm going to go back to Design View. I'm going to select the category field, and I'm just going to drag it so that's the first field in the query result. Okay, let's just have a look at that. That's what we're looking for. Now, to be honest with you, I'm only interested in breakfast, salad, and desserts. So let's do a very quick adjustment. Breakfast, salads, and desserts. So the criteria of the category is breakfast or salads or desserts. And let's just run that. That's all we're looking for. Okay. Now hopefully I can find a way to first of all save the query and then export that data into something like Microsoft Excel, where it's super easy to make a chart or something like that to display the data graphically. Before I finish today, I'm just going to show you another thing that you may or may not know about query design. Do you see I've got these three criteria on a different line? Breakfast or salads or desserts. I can also do it this way. In Microsoft Access, I can say breakfast or salads or desserts. Make sure you get your spelling right or it won't work. So that you can have everything on the criteria on one line, and that's fine. And if I run that, we'll get the same result. And this is another thing that I found out today as I was messing around with my query. I can do this, quite interestingly. Not breakfast or salads or desserts. Not breakfast or salads or desserts. Let's see what that does. So can you see that that query will give me all of the data that I'm looking for except for breakfasts, salads, and desserts. They're not included. And that's that's the magic of the not keyword. Okay? So there's another little trick for data miners when they're analyzing data sets scraped from the internet.